Have you ever finished a K-drama and suddenly felt that today's dating world feels a little empty? A little too fast? If you've ever swiped through dating apps or been caught in a situationship, you've probably felt it too. Everything feels rushed, transactional, and a little soulless. But what if the problem isn't just modern love itself, but how we're experiencing it? Today, we're diving deep into why K-dramas continue to capture our hearts and why they make Hookup culture feel like it's missing something vital. Make sure to stick with us until the very end, because this isn't just about K-dramas. It's about what they're teaching us about love. Let's face it, modern romance moves at lightning speed. One swipe, one text, and suddenly people are expected to jump into connections that barely scratch the surface. Dating apps have made love more convenient, but also more disposable. And while casual dating may work for some, many are quietly asking, is this really what connection is supposed to feel like? This is where K-dramas come in, not just as entertainment, but as emotional reminders of what we've started to forget. K-dramas slow everything down. They let relationships breathe. Instead of rushing toward physical intimacy or fiery breakups in episode 1, they take their time. We see characters get to know each other. They stumble, they hesitate, they grow. And in that time, something powerful happens. We believe in their love. It feels real because we're watching it form moment by moment, not just through kisses and chemistry, but through conversations, shared struggles, and emotional growth. These stories don't just rely on surface attraction. They build deep emotional intimacy. Take a scene from It's Okay to Not Be Okay, where two broken characters just sit beside each other in silence after a hard day. No kisses, no big music cue, just a soft line. You can cry. I'll stay here with you. That moment hits harder than any steamy scene because it's raw. It's present. It's real. That's what emotional connection looks like. That's what so much of modern dating has lost. K-dramas show us love that isn't perfect but is honest. The characters miscommunicate, get scared, and make mistakes. But they show up anyway. They're willing to do the emotional work. In a world that often tells us to be detached and chill, these stories tell us the opposite. That it's okay to care deeply. That it's okay to be vulnerable. And that those things aren't weaknesses. They're the foundation of something lasting. Shows like Crash Landing on You and Goblin may have dramatic settings, but at their core, they're about connection. About two people meeting under impossible circumstances and still choosing each other. The fantasy just makes the emotions feel even more precious, because it reminds us that love, real love, is always a choice. Often a hard one, but one that matters. And some K-dramas go even deeper. My Liberation Notes, for example, isn't about grand romance at all. It's about two emotionally exhausted people learning to show up for each other. Not to fix or save one another, but to be there in the quiet, broken parts of life. That kind of love, the slow, steady, grounding kind, feels like a revelation in today's fast-paced, image-driven dating world. What makes K-dramas stand out is the way they use time. That will they, won't they dynamic? It's not just for drama. It's a reflection of how relationships often work in real life. Slowly, uncertainly, but meaningfully. And when the couple finally confesses or kisses, it feels earned. Not just by the characters, but by us. Because we waited, we watched, we felt every step of the journey. In today's world, we're told to move on fast, not catch feelings, keep things casual. But K-dramas ask us to do the opposite. They remind us that love is worth slowing down for. That emotional risk is not something to avoid, but something to value. They show us that the strongest love isn't always loud. Sometimes it's a glance, a hand reaching out, or just staying by someone's side when it would be easier to walk away. So if you're feeling worn out by dating apps or relationships that feel shallow and short-lived, you're not alone. You're not too sensitive. You're not asking for too much. Maybe what you're craving isn't a fantasy, but something real, something patient, something that K-dramas understand better than almost anything else in modern media. Because in a world obsessed with speed, they hit pause. They invite us to listen, to feel, and to believe again in love that's gentle, vulnerable, and lasting. And maybe, just maybe, that kind of love isn't only on screen. Maybe it's still possible if we're brave enough to slow down and wait for it. If you want to see how some K-dramas are starting to explore love in even bolder, more adult ways, click on our next video. Because the quiet revolution of romance is just getting started.